Let's be candid. The reality is that a lot of individuals are too reluctant to express their dislike for you directly. Instead, they conceal their true feelings behind feigned smiles, superficial compliments, and forced politeness. I've experienced this myself, thinking someone was my ally only to discover they were quietly wishing for my failure. It's harsh, but the fact remains. If you fail to identify the signs, you may find yourself wasting your time and energy on people who, deep down, don't truly understand you. So let's eliminate the pretense and delve into the indicators that someone harbors negative feelings towards you while hiding it. You may not enjoy what you discover, but facing the truth is far better than remaining in denial. 1. They frequently make jokes at your expense. We've all encountered that one individual who seems to revel in humor, especially when it targets you. They'll poke fun at your quirks, your mistakes, and your little imperfections, all while grinning and saying, "I'm just teasing." Initially, it may seem harmless, but let's not fool ourselves. These jests often exceed mere playful banter. They are calculated comments disguised as humor, aimed at gradually eroding your self-esteem. I recall a time when I was close to someone who always seemed to have something to critique about me. My clothing choices, the way I communicated, even the projects I was working on. At first, I brushed it off, convinced it was all in good spirits. However, as time progressed, I recognized a recurring pattern. The jokes consistently targeted my perceived weaknesses rather than my strengths. It didn't take long before I began to question my own worth, wondering if perhaps I was the problem, if these flaws were as glaring as they suggested. Here's where the controversy arises. Individuals who habitually mock your imperfections are not acting out of kindness. They are probing your tolerance for disrespect. It represents a subtle form of manipulation, a means for them to assert their dominance while keeping you subordinate. They are, in essence, communicating that you are inferior to them, the most insidious part. They evade accountability because society teaches us that if we can't handle a joke, we are the ones at fault. But let's turn that narrative around. I want to emphasize that there's absolutely nothing wrong with defending yourself when a joke crosses the line. In fact, doing so is vital. You deserve to be surrounded by individuals who elevate you, not those who belittle you for a cheap laugh. Genuine friends do not need to highlight your flaws to feel superior. They celebrate your strengths and assist you in overcoming your weaknesses without making you the target of ridicule. I've witnessed this scenario repeatedly. Individuals who allow such jokes to slide, believing it's simpler to maintain the peace than to stir the pot. However, here's the hard truth. Permitting others to disrespect you, even as a joke, is a precarious path. It starts with minor comments, but over time, those jokes can erode your confidence, leading you to doubt your worth. The more you permit it, the more they will push until you are left questioning yourself, all because you didn't want to appear overly sensitive. I learned this lesson the hard way. I came to the realization that by laughing along, I was granting them permission to continue their behavior. I was complicit in my own disrespect. It wasn't until I began to stand my ground and set boundaries that I noticed a shift, not only in how they treated me, but also in my self-perception. I ceased allowing their words to shape my identity and began to take control of my own story. So here's my suggestion. The next time someone cracks a joke at your expense, don't just dismiss it with laughter. Reflect on whether this is genuinely humorous or if there's something deeper at play. If it's the latter, don't hesitate to confront them. It may be uncomfortable. It might even jeopardize the friendship. Yet your self-respect is far more valuable than someone's misguided sense of humor. Ultimately, life is too brief to surround yourself with individuals who fail to recognize your worth. If their version of friendship revolves around continuously pointing out your flaws, it's time to seek out new companions. Those who genuinely care about you will never feel the need to belittle you to feel good about themselves. Stand tall, voice your thoughts, and do not allow anyone to reduce you to a mere punchline. 2. They offer compliments that feel more like insults. We've all experienced it. Someone gives you what seems like a compliment, but instead of feeling uplifted, you're left with a sour feeling, as if you've been struck with a soft but painful blow. It's the type of compliment that makes you pause and ponder. Wait, was that genuinely a compliment or an insult? The harsh reality is that it often contains elements of both. These insincere compliments serve as a subtle and almost cunning way for individuals to undermine you while pretending to be kind. I can recall a moment when I was working on an important project that I felt incredibly proud of. After dedicating countless hours of effort, I shared it with a group of colleagues. One of them, someone I believed was supportive, remarked with a grin, "Wow, this is actually quite impressive for someone like you." I was left speechless. On the surface, it appeared to be a compliment, but those final words, "for someone like you," hit me hard. What did that even imply? Was I not expected to produce good work? And therein lies the controversy. These so-called compliments are often imbued with ulterior motives. They aren't designed to uplift. They aim to keep you in your designated place. It's a power play, a way for the individual delivering the compliment to assert their superiority while causing you to question your abilities. They're implying, "I recognize your efforts, but you'll never reach my level." It's toxic behavior, cleverly concealed beneath a seemingly sweet exterior that can easily hide the underlying malice. Let's face it, those who deliver backhanded compliments are frequently battling their own insecurities. They recognize your potential and strengths, and that frightens them. Consequently, they resort to these sly insults to keep you doubting yourself, ensuring that you don't rise too high. It's akin to them patting you on the back, while simultaneously holding you down with the other hand. Moreover, here's where it gets even more contentious. At some point, we've all engaged in a similar behavior. Perhaps not with ill intent, but we've all allowed our insecurities to manifest in a way that serves to remind someone of their place. However, here's the crucial takeaway. You don't have to accept this disguised animosity. You possess the power to reject it, to recognize it for what it truly is, a reflection of their insecurities, not a judgment of your worth. When someone states, "You're smarter than you appear," or "This is good for someone new at this," you don't have to accept it without question. Call it for what it is, even if it leads to some awkwardness, because failing to do so means you're allowing them to dictate your self-perception. That's a power you should never relinquish to anyone. I've learned to identify these compliments for what they are, mirrors reflecting someone else's insecurities. When you view it through this lens, it loses its power. Rather than internalizing it, you can almost chuckle it off, because ultimately their words reveal far more about them than they ever will about you. So now, when I encounter a backhanded compliment, I refuse to let it slide. I respond with something akin to, "Thanks, but what do you mean by that?" This approach forces them to confront the insult hidden in their words, and more often than not, it places them in an uncomfortable position. They suddenly realize that I won't engage in their game, and it's remarkable how quickly their demeanor shifts. The key takeaway: do not allow anyone's thinly veiled negativity to define you. Whether it's a well-meaning acquaintance, a jealous colleague, or even a family member, keep this in mind. Your worth is not open for debate. Compliments should uplift you, not tear you down. If someone's remarks leave you questioning your self-worth, it's time to scrutinize their intentions. Life is too short to invest in people who cannot sincerely celebrate your achievements. Surround yourself with those who recognize your value and are unafraid to express it without any hidden agendas. 3. They intentionally leave you out of social gatherings. It's often the small details that hurt the most, like discovering that your so-called friends conveniently forgot to invite you to that dinner, that party, or that weekend getaway. They'll insist it was an unintentional oversight, that it was a last-minute arrangement, or worse, they'll assume you were too busy to attend anyway. But let's be honest, these aren't mere coincidences. This represents social exclusion in its most subtle form, and it clearly indicates that you're not held in as high regard as you believe. I've unfortunately been on the receiving end of this too many times. I remember checking my phone one weekend and seeing pictures of a group of friends thoroughly enjoying themselves at an event I would have loved to have been part of. The kicker: not a single person had mentioned it to me beforehand. When I later brought it up casually, they were filled with excuses. "Oh, we thought you were occupied," or "It was such a last-minute arrangement." Yet, deep down, I understood the truth. If they genuinely wanted me there, they would have ensured I was informed. Here's where the controversy emerges. We've been conditioned to concoct excuses for those who exclude us. We convince ourselves that it's not significant, or that "I'm sure it wasn't intended personally." Yet let's call it what it is. It is personal. When individuals consistently leave you out, it reflects a decision they've made about your role in their lives. They do not view you as integral to their circle, and that stings. The controversy lies in the fact that we've been taught to accept busy as an acceptable justification for being sidelined. But let's be real, individuals make time for the things and people they care about. If someone is perpetually too busy for you, it's not a matter of their schedule, it's about their priorities. That realization can be difficult to accept, as it forces you to confront the truth that you may not hold the same significance for them as they do for you. The harsh truth is that busy often serves as a polite euphemism for "I do not wish to spend time with you." It's simpler for them to attribute it to their schedule than to acknowledge that they are deliberately choosing not to include you in their lives. It's a passive-aggressive tactic to maintain a safe distance without confronting the unpleasantness that would arise from telling you the truth. They want to keep you on the line, just in case, without genuinely investing in the relationship. I've been on both sides of this situation. There were occasions when I was the one making excuses, unsure of how to convey to someone that I had outgrown the friendship. However, my experiences on the receiving end imparted a valuable lesson. It's preferable to be truthful, even if it's uncomfortable, than to string someone along with false justifications. When I finally confronted my friend about their continual busyness, the conversation was awkward, yet it was necessary. It provided me with the clarity I needed to move on and dedicate my time and energy to relationships where I was genuinely valued. Here's the profound message: your time is invaluable, and so is your energy. Do not squander it on individuals who show no interest in making time for you. If someone is persistently too busy for you, it's time to reevaluate the relationship. You deserve to be with people who are eager to see you, who make an effort to incorporate you into their lives, not just when it's convenient for them, but because they genuinely appreciate your company. It's crucial to recognize that people and relationships evolve. Occasionally, we cling to individuals out of habit, nostalgia, or fear of solitude, even when they have clearly moved on. However, there is strength in letting go, in recognizing that you deserve more than someone's leftovers. It's not about being needy or demanding. It's about valuing yourself enough to walk away from those who do not value you. 4. They respond with eye rolls or dismissive glances. You know that sensation when you're among a group and share your thoughts, only to be met with an eye roll or a condescending look. It feels like a blow to the gut, doesn't it? Those subtle gestures convey a significant message. They clearly indicate that not only are they uninterested in what you're saying, but they are actively dismissing you. I have found myself in scenarios where I expressed my opinions on a subject I was passionate about, only to be met with eye rolls and sarcastic remarks. Initially, I dismissed it, thinking perhaps I was just being overly sensitive. However, as time passed, it became clear that their reactions weren't merely a matter of differing viewpoints. It was their way of signaling to everyone present that I didn't warrant serious consideration. The reality is that rolling your eyes or giving dismissive glances constitutes a silent yet powerful form of disrespect. It allows someone to belittle you without uttering a word, to undermine your confidence while pretending it's all in jest. Here's where the controversy lies. Many individuals brush off such behaviors, convincing themselves it's simply part of someone's personality. But here's the reality check. These actions are toxic, and they can significantly impact your self-worth. And here's the unfortunate truth. People who roll their eyes at you often project their own insecurities. They feel threatened by your confidence, your knowledge, or your ability to articulate your thoughts. Instead of engaging with you on an equal level, they resort to diminishing your worth. It's a classic power play, and the most unfortunate aspect is that it frequently succeeds. When you consistently face eye rolls and dismissive looks, it can gradually erode your self-esteem and cause you to question your own value. I've learned to confront this behavior directly. The next time someone rolls their eyes at my words, I'll call it out. Did you just roll your eyes? What's that all about? This approach places them on the spot and compels them to re-evaluate their conduct. More importantly, it reinforces my refusal to tolerate such disrespect. So here's the takeaway. Do not permit anyone to diminish your voice or your worth. Eye rolls and condescending looks serve as indicators that someone is attempting to exert control over you, and you possess every right to challenge that behavior. Surround yourself with individuals who respect your viewpoints, who value your insights, and who elevate you rather than tear you down. Life is too short to waste on those who cannot appreciate your brilliance. 5. They actively avoid any form of physical contact. Let's address the elephant in the room, the absence of physical contact. We're not merely discussing romantic relationships here. Physical contact represents a fundamental human interaction, a means of establishing connections and building trust. So what does it signify when someone goes out of their way to evade even the most casual touch? The answer is not pleasant. They are sending a clear message that they feel uncomfortable around you, and it's crucial to take note. I once had a colleague who seemed to withdraw every time I reached out for a handshake or a friendly pat on the back. Initially, I thought I was imagining it, but then I realized it wasn't just me. They were warm and affectionate with everyone else, but when it came to me, it felt as though I had the plague. It didn't take long for me to recognize that their avoidance of physical contact was more than just an idiosyncrasy. It was a deliberate attempt to maintain distance. Here's the controversial aspect. Physical contact is a natural component of human interaction, and when someone consistently avoids it, they are communicating a lack of comfort or connection. Sure, some individuals simply aren't touchy-feely, and that's perfectly acceptable. However, when their avoidance is selective, when they're comfortable hugging others but become stiff around you, it serves as a red flag that something is amiss. They may not dislike you enough to express it outright, but their body language is communicating volumes. Let's be honest. We've all experienced this on both sides of the equation. Perhaps you've shunned a handshake or leaned away when someone came too close because you weren't feeling the vibe. Or maybe you've found yourself questioning why someone flinches at your presence. It's uncomfortable, it's awkward, and it often signifies that the relationship isn't as robust as you would like to believe. However, here's the deeper truth. Physical contact is an essential aspect of human connection. It's how we communicate trust, warmth, and empathy. When someone avoids physical contact with you, they aren't merely evading touch, they're evading closeness, intimacy, and vulnerability. They're keeping you at a distance, both literally and figuratively, and that serves as a clear indication that there's an underlying issue within the relationship. I've learned to be attentive to these signals, even when it's challenging to confront their implications. There was a time when I disregarded the signs, convincing myself that someone's reluctance to engage physically was simply part of their personality. However, upon deeper reflection, I realized it was about me and the dynamics of our relationship. When I ultimately confronted the situation, it led to difficult conversations and, in some cases, the dissolution of the relationship. Yet, it also liberated me from the frustration of questioning why things felt off. So here's the deep message: do not ignore the signs. When someone avoids physical contact with you, it signifies more than just a preference. It's a statement regarding their level of comfort and connection with you. If you notice this pattern, don't hesitate to address it. It could lead to a deeper understanding, or it might reveal that the relationship isn't as solid as you believed. Either way, confronting the truth is preferable to existing in denial. And remember, you deserve relationships where physical contact is not something to be evaded, but rather something that occurs naturally and comfortably. Whether it's a friendly hug, a handshake, or simply sitting close without feeling awkward, these small gestures foster trust and connection. If someone consistently steers clear of them, it's a clear indicator that something is amiss. Don't shy away from posing the difficult questions, and if necessary, make the tough choices. Life is too short to be surrounded by individuals who keep you at a distance, both literally and figuratively. 6. They vanish when you require assistance. Let's be frank, nothing reveals the true nature of a relationship more than a crisis. When times get tough, you discover who your genuine friends are. So what does it imply when someone disappears just when you need them the most? It's not merely a sign of inconsistency, it's a glaring warning that they aren't as invested in you as you might have believed. Let's face it, when someone pulls a disappearing act during your darkest moments, it's not just painful, it's a betrayal. I learned this lesson the hard way during a particularly challenging time in my life. I was grappling with a significant personal issue, something that truly shook me to my core. Naturally, I turned to the individuals I considered close friends, hoping for some degree of support, even if it was just a quick text or a brief call. But guess what? Silence. The people I thought would stand by me suddenly had every excuse imaginable. I'm swamped with work. I'm really busy right now. Or, I'll check in with you later. Spoiler alert, they never did. Here's where it gets controversial. Individuals love to boast about how they'll always be there for you, yet when push comes to shove, many of them are only present during the good times. They'll celebrate with you, share in your laughter, and relish the high points of your life. But the moment things become serious, they're nowhere to be found. It's simpler for them to ghost you than to confront your pain or discomfort. They don't want to be drawn into your problems because deep down they lack the genuine concern to be there when it truly matters. Let's be brutally honest, authentic support isn't about convenience. It's about being present when it's difficult, when it's uncomfortable, and when it's the last thing you want to do. The individuals who vanish when you need them most are not merely being inconsiderate, they are revealing your position in their lives. They are saying, in no uncertain terms, your problems aren't worth my time. I remember feeling utterly devastated when I realized that those I had supported in the past, during their breakups, familial disputes, and career setbacks, couldn't muster the effort to reciprocate. It was a painful wake-up call, but it was a lesson I needed to learn. Not everyone who smiles in your face genuinely has your best interests at heart. Here's the essential message. Support is the cornerstone of any meaningful relationship. It's easy to be present when everything is going smoothly, but the real test of a relationship is how people react when things become difficult. If someone disappears the moment you require assistance, they're not just letting you down. They're demonstrating that they were never truly there for you in the first place. However, don't allow their absence to breed bitterness. Instead, let it empower you. Use it as a filter to identify those who don't deserve a place in your life. The ones who remain, who check in, and who show up even when it's inconvenient. Those are the individuals who genuinely matter, and those are the relationships you should nurture and cherish. Ultimately, life is too short to invest in fair-weather friends. Surround yourself with individuals who will stand by you during storms, not just bask in the sunshine. Because when you discover those rare individuals who remain by your side when the chips are down, you've found something truly worth holding on to. As for those who vanish, let them go. They've already revealed their true nature. 7. They engage in gossip about you behind your back. Gossip serves as a social poison that spreads faster than wildfire and can devastate relationships in an instant. The insidious nature of gossip is that it is rarely as innocent as people portray it to be. When someone you consider a friend speaks about you behind your back, they aren't merely sharing a harmless narrative. They are actively undermining your trust, tarnishing your reputation, and damaging your relationships. Let's be real. When they engage in gossip about you, it demonstrates a fundamental disrespect for your character. I once had a friend who appeared supportive on the surface but relished sharing my private information as though it were public knowledge. It didn't take long for me to hear of them disparaging me to others, individuals I barely knew. The revelation was shocking and left me feeling betrayed and exposed. This person wasn't just airing my business. They were manipulating my story, casting me in a negative light, and creating a divide between me and others. Here's the controversial aspect. Gossip represents a toxic behavior that often conceals deeper insecurities and issues. When someone feels compelled to speak about you instead of addressing you directly, it reflects their own shortcomings, not yours. They project their fears, jealousy, or insecurities onto you, crafting a narrative that aligns with their agenda. So what do you do when you discover that someone has been gossiping about you? You confront it. I understand that it's uncomfortable, but ignoring the situation only empowers it. When I finally addressed the issue with my friend, it led to an explosive discussion that revealed a great deal about their character. It turned out they were wrestling with their own insecurities and felt threatened by my accomplishments. Instead of having an open conversation with me, they opted to undermine me. The profound message here is clear. Gossip is a sign that someone is not your true friend. Friends uplift you. They do not tear you down behind your back. If someone engages in gossip about you, it's time to reassess their role in your life. You deserve relationships founded on trust, loyalty, and open communication, not betrayal and petty drama. And remember, even if you become the target of their gossip, do not allow it to define you. People will talk, but your worth is not determined by their opinions or narratives. Focus on the relationships that truly matter, those built on respect and mutual support. When you surround yourself with authentic individuals, the gossip fades into insignificance, leaving you with the strength of genuine friendships. So here's the bottom line. If someone is gossiping about you, do not provide them the satisfaction of letting it affect you. Confront it, learn from it, and move forward. Life is too short to waste time on people who cannot refrain from discussing your life negatively. Surround yourself with those who celebrate you, not those who belittle you. True friends will be there to uplift and defend you, and those are the relationships worth cherishing.